why everyone's kind of freaking out is, so you have these knowledge work plugins, they're calling them. And what is knowledge work plugins? It's basically like, how can we replace entry-level people plugins? But they don't want to call them that, but that's what they are. So like, if you look through this list, this is like their very basic list of knowledge work plugins, one of which is legal, which is why like all these legal stocks are tanking, but it's really like for all of these. So basically, again, it's just they're fancier versions of skills where you're teaching your AI to be an employee to a degree. And so what it's going to do is like, it's going to take away like that front end stuff that employees do and give you like the deliverable that your employee wanted, because you've taken the time to not only use these skills that they've built, but you've tweaked them to your liking and you've given it your IP of how you make things look. And then using these high level skills and plugins, it's giving you like these amazing outputs. So, you know, Britt, like for you, like I look at these and it's like, all right, like sales is one, product management, marketing. I mean, like any of these, you know, like even if you're not in the legal space anymore, like this is coming for everybody. And this to me feels like a little more advanced at the moment. So basically, I was like, well, why did those stocks tank? Like, what is this really? Is it skills? What is it? So I went through and just kind of like asked Anthropic to like explain this to me and like what it's doing. And then I want to show you like how I think and how you can do this yourself really easily without like being like, oh, I need these plugins and this and that. It's like, it's so simple. It's as simple as I do X, create a skill for it. And my method includes these three things. So make sure you put those in there, but also figure out what the smartest people in the world who do this also do and add that into it and then make a skill. And then it's like you test it out and see what happens and what you get. So you're going to get what you wanted, potentially with like an added level of genius to it that's going to give you these like insane outputs. Or you could literally say it has to be exactly the way I do it or nothing else. And, you know, that's totally fine too. But I always think that it's like probably helpful to just ask it to enhance whatever you tell it, because then you're just going to end up with like your genius level business buddy who gave you like the best ideas you couldn't think of. So high level, like what this stuff is doing is like, we used to ask a question and get a generic answer. That is no longer the case. The new way is basically you're giving it your playbook, your AI as a persistent knowledge base of your preferences. You're also allowing it to, so the AI can now take actions on your behalf. So it's like you've given this stuff, but like now it knows what to do when you want it to. So it's like in the morning, it's like, hey, I dropped 3 new contracts into that folder, and I need you to scan them for these criteria. And it can now, so CoWork, which is built into Claude, allows it to go onto your desktop, read that folder, open the file, make edits to those specific files, leave them there, and then tell you that it's done. So like it's no longer like living in the AI. It's like going onto your computer and doing the work for you, or into your Google Drive and your shared folders and like wherever your work lives. And then on top of that too, it connects to all of your tools. So like it can message you on Slack when it's done, or it can tell your team that it's ready for them to pick it up because it did XYZ, which then triggers the workflow of now an employee actually gets it. So like it's, like I said, it's like this is covering those entry-level positions, and it's taking like roles away that are repeatable tasks that people could be doing. And it's creating, and like it's now this own, it's like its own organism, so to speak. So like their thinking is like, instead of somebody doing the routine work, the AI does the routine work and then you review it. So it's like, if you want to say like, well, where's the world heading? It's like the AI does the work and we review it. The AI does the work and we review it. And that's like the shift that we're doing, instead of we do the work and then somebody else looks at it, or your junior employee who you pay $50, $60, $100,000 a year does the work. The AI is doing the work and you're still spending the 10 minutes to make sure it looks the way you want. And then if you're iterating, you give it back to the AI and vice versa. So it's like, if
or can't you have like a junior level person use that to then get like an amazing product that then I feel comfortable has been vetted?
The delegation can trickle down. So it's like instead of you reviewing the work, the person that you trust can review the work. But somebody's got to review it to make sure that it didn't spaz out. And you can't just send an AI generated deliverable out into the universe and stamp your name on it if you haven't looked at it, because it could go off the rails and write hate speech in it and you wouldn't have known. So my point is like someone's got to look at it who understands what the output should look like. And that's almost like not, it's like whoever needs to look at it should look at it. So yes, your junior people could be looking at it. Your business partner, somebody can look at it. I guess that's the point of the work, is that somebody's got to look at it to a degree.
Well, I just want to clarify for people, and I don't want to interrupt you, Adam, but I don't want people to think that like associate positions are going away. Like the way that I would probably use it is to train our associates on how to be super associates. But I still would be the one looking at it, supervising. But most junior associates or interns spend hours going in circles doing things that they have no guidance on. So even if you still hire a junior associate or an intern, now you're still being more affected by having them do the AI because they have support. So I just think that like that's probably where we're headed versus like just getting rid of associates and interns completely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's just going to like be like a trickle down. So it's a matter of like, who do you want doing certain things, right? And somebody with a certain level of expertise has to be reviewing it. And then this will also then give those same people the ability to create their own skills around the outputs that they're getting to give better deliverables to their senior people. So like it goes all the way down the ladder. It's not like, oh, only the CEO can create skills. It's like every person at every level of every job should have skills based on the outputs that they're expected to be delivering. So let me just keep going through here. So yeah, it's like basically, we kind of covered this stuff already, from answers to action. So you're instead of just getting an answer from the AI, you're getting an action out of the AI, which is whatever you set that skill. So they're saying an attorney gets an NDA, the GPT can, this is how it works now. ChatGPT is just reviewing it against their protocol, so to speak, writing red lines, giving you updated drafts, but instead, you're now uploading this into your computer. The AI is reading it and doing all the work on your computer for you, and then logging it, reporting it, and moving it along to the next step. So it's just showing you like how you're able to cut time. And basically, we've reached this level because, like I said, Claude's model is so good and so smart that now the AI can actually do this effectively. And we have all these tools and connections that make this like a real workflow where things are flowing from, okay, I dropped it in the folder, to messaging the AI on Slack to say, go pull it, run your skill, and then send it to so-and-so. And like, in theory, that can be happening. Again, we're not quite at that level yet where it's like safe to just give it anything, but based on like whatever field you're in or what you're working on, like the sky is like the limit with what you can imagine. So this was me chatting with it about like privilege and confidentiality. And basically what I already discussed is sort of the situation. So I want to give you guys like a little bit of like a real world example of how I used this earlier today. So basically I read through all this, I kind of gained my knowledge of like why the legal thing happened and the stocks tanked. And I'm like, okay, so like turn this into a presentation that I can give to somebody. So first thing I said was just give me a presentation on this. And I think this is a very cool representation of like why these skills are as important as they are. So like this was the original, when I just said make a PowerPoint based on what you told me, this is what showed up. So we got a little bit of PowerPoint, colors are a little bit all over the place, whatever. This is a coherent PowerPoint. This was off. I could have showed this to you guys and been like, yeah, great. Okay, this is how you use this. It makes PowerPoints. But then I was like, this PowerPoint's not that great. I don't love the colors. It doesn't really look that cool to me. So I said, create a PowerPoint skill that would make this better for business presentation, that kept the presentation classy, limited in color, but looks really clean, fast, minimalist, and then use that skill and redo the one you just made me. So, I mean, I'm not pouring Albert Einstein level work into what I'm asking it to do. And then it went through and it made this skill. So it just looks for what it basically goes online and it's like, how do we build a kick-ass presentation that would look really good, right? And so then it tells me, you know, it did these things. It created the skill. So this is now the skill that I could say, Claude, every time I need a PowerPoint, use that skill that we made that day because that's the master skill for PowerPoints. And the next iteration, and this all took like 3 to 5 minutes, is this, like plain colors, simple, better configuration, just cleaner, right? So like, I think we could all agree that like this just looks better. I didn't love the information. I feel like it pulled some of the important stuff out. So I said, it looks good. Now just go back and put back the meat and potatoes of that presentation that you gave me so I can get it to be more valuable because I feel like it, you know, took the knowledge out of it. And then it gave me this 14 slide, basically playbook of what we're discussing right now. And it just looks much better, cleaner, and it's following the rules that it created. So like high level, that's how the skills work. This is such a simple.
Did you ask it to edit the skill, or did you edit the skill after you said like, okay, that's good aesthetic wise, but you took out information? Do you have to like edit the skill again?
So you absolutely could and should be editing your skills based on what you want. The skill is not set in stone. It's not the end all be all. It's an editable file actually. So the skill shows up here. This is called a markdown file, which is like a fancy way of saying it's just words that this is like how I'm not super technical, but they deliver it in markdown files. It's not a Word file, it's a markdown file, which is just simple text basically. And this is, so it's like kind of funny to see, like I said, create a PowerPoint skill and like look at all of this stuff that it put in. It has, these are like the allowable color scheme and color codes for it to use. This is the type of typography it can use, layout, spacing, alignment, like this is way more in depth than anything I would have ever thought of to tell it. And yet it created all this itself. But Britt, to your point, it's like, look, I despise these 3 colors and do not want them in there. All I would do is copy and paste this back over here and say, hey, on that skill document, I want to get these colors out and replace them with pink, yellow, and blue. And then it will reiterate, update the skill, and give you a new output. And then you can say to it, now make my presentation again based on the updated skill. And so effectively, like that's how you should be working with this to like really hone in on you're getting the best outputs and the deliverable the way that you want it. You shouldn't be beholden to the AI in terms of what it thinks. It often thinks brilliantly, quite frankly, but that human touch is what is going to make it really spectacular as you go back and forth with it and get it to do things the way that you want them done.
This is pretty epic.
It's pretty cool, right? And again, like, that's just like, that's really like the basics. So like, if you guys don't have questions or if you want to like spin a little bit and kind of create some ideas on that, I'm happy to talk about it. But then there's like another level of like where this goes that's like really like a lot more mind-blowing, but it's like unfolding right now. So this is like step 1. This is here, doable. Everyone can use this for anything, right? Like I would say like this is awesome for social media. It's like create a content calendar around my podcast that I'm doing. And it's like, this is how I've been doing it. What else could I be doing? These are, feed it your last 30 social media posts that you wrote. This is my voice. Recreate this with my voice. Create a my voice skill and then test it. Say, write me a LinkedIn post based on the my voice skill. Write me a Instagram post based on this skill and see what it does that you like and don't like and tweak it. And like, this is how you're going to get like very recreatable, consistent workflows where things are just happening like in the background exactly the way that you want it. It can be for social media. It can be for any marketing content that you're doing, anything that you're designing.
Cool.
Like
Yeah.
the possibilities are literally endless. It's so this is such a basic example with PowerPoint, but you could plug in anything that you do, especially things that you do often. Like, for example, Francesca and I were talking the other day, like, I think that we should test out creating like a trademark skill, right? Like we do trademarks at our law firm, and obviously like we can't put client info into it, but like that skill is something that is a template that people follow. And so like you just kind of like where your mind has to go and like where things are going in the future of these skills that we're teaching people, we can teach them to the AI. And it might be a marketing skill, it might be a legal skill, it might be a customer service skill. Huge implications for customer service. It's everywhere. So it's just if you cast an incredibly wide net when you're thinking about like where could this be useful.
Okay,
And I think it's also going to be useful. Oh, go ahead, Taly.
No, you go first, and then I'll say my.
I'm just making a comment on how the direction we're going in is right now. We have employees where we build SOPs, we have trainings. And so you literally take you, the essence of you and your style, and embed it into somebody else rather than embed it into somebody else. Now we're literally going to have agents where we've taken our brain and our style and what we do in and teach the AI agent to be like a replica of us. And so whether or not you're giving that to your clients or you're giving that to your associates or, you know, your partners, but I do think that's the direction that this is going in. Is it seems a little bit like crazy to think about, but it is very similar to how we run companies currently, where you are still taking your ways of doing things and training other people, but this will make it much, much more efficient.
And my point with this, like where I see things going is I think every employee of every company will be able to do so much more than they are now. So I don't think employees are going away. I think that companies will look very different in the future, where it's like one person can do the work of 3 to 5 people or more. It's just that each employee will be utilizing the AI to do so much more than they're doing now. And like it is a big shift that we're going through where it's like, wow, like that feels different. But our capabilities will become superhuman from what we're capable of doing now, because the AI is getting so smart and already is and is going to be capable of doing so much of what we do. And so it's like we're going to have all these powerhouse companies where people are enabled by those tools to do double or triple of what they were able to do before. And that's just a big shift that's going to happen. But like that still doesn't mean it's like, oh, okay, I can teach it to do a contract, so we don't need a lawyer to do a contract anymore. It's like, well, no, like I'm not the one actually doing the contract, like somebody else is. So the lawyer who does contracts is going to be able to do a lot more contracts because of the AI. It's not like, well, we don't need that contract lawyer anymore. It's just, I think that people's capability and capacity will skyrocket, quite frankly, from what they're capable of now once the genie's like fully out of the lamp, so to speak. Like right now, again, there's all these protections. You have to like nitpick through what you can give it and what you can't. And once we're all able to just fully say like, all right, I have the smartest AI, it's fully secure, you know, basically it lives inside Microsoft ecosystem where I have all our confidential information. It can do all of what I'm describing right here. Like when that switch gets flipped, like it's going to be really amazing what people are able to do. It's just right now, these are all disconnected tools because of the newness of it and the risk and the privacy concerns and things of that nature. But I would imagine that there are people working around the clock to make this a reality.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Okay, I have a few questions. I just wrote them down because I have multiple questions. Okay. So my first one, let's say like I create my Claude with my skills, and then is there like a same account that you can give off to your employees, and then they can add on their own skills, have like the general skills, and then they can add their own specific skills? You know what I'm trying to say? This might be like kind of like too.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, it's like I would say that you can get really advanced with it, or you could keep it really simple. And as simple as like, we have a shared folder and certain things go into the shared folder and the Claude goes into that shared folder and you communicate over Slack and like the Claude can see what that conversation is, right? Like it's as simple as that. And then from there, it's like, well, each department at your company could have its own knowledge base and its own skills. And like you could, I think that the complexity of it will get built out in a big way. But like on a really simple level, it could be, okay, the intellectual property of my business is this set of skills that I've created. And every employee who's tasked with doing this job knows that the first step is to go into the skills folder, pull out that skill, drop it into Claude and say, Claude, using this skill, here's what I need. And it's based on that task that you assigned. And then that deliverable, in theory, should match exactly what your standards are for that deliverable for your employee to then review, tweak, iterate, and get it to you in its highest best form.
Okay.
So like that's a super simple way to think about it is let's create a knowledge base of skills that everyone at the firm shares and we improve those skills over time, but there's a home base for where those live because you could get lost in the complexity of like all of this stuff, you know, it should all technically be perfect and beautiful and across different systems and locations and really like it doesn't have to be that way. So that's kind of how I would explain that.
So basically, instead of like giving somebody an SOP and a template, you're almost just giving them
I
a
love how
library
your
of
mind works,
skills.
Britt. You're exactly right. Like literally.
That's why I wanted Adam to show you this, Britt. Like that's the next level.
Yeah,
It's an evolution of SOPs.
I would say that the skill almost should be attached to the SOP. And really, the skill was developed off of the SOP, right? So like, that's like the starting point for me. Like if you have really good SOPs, my first thing I'm doing is every one of those is going into Claude and saying, turn this into a skill. And then you're testing it to see what it gives you. That's like exactly how I would do it. And then that SOP will probably shift based on the fact that the skill is doing so much of the work. And now you have a new SOP for the human who has to review it, whoever's going to look at it and whatever they're going to get. So I think that what you're going to wind up with is a brand new set of skills and a full redo of your SOPs. But the SOPs that you have are the starting point of creating all of this training for the AI.
So let's say for PI, we have demand letters, right? So the demand letter is essentially like what we send to the insurance company. So I would upload my template, right, into Claude and make that a skill. And then but then I can't put client names. So it just have to be blank because you wouldn't want to put client names in it essentially, right? That'd be how it would work.
Exactly right.
You could put all the other information, I suppose.
Sure.
And then
so here's what I would tell you. As long as you can't trace it back to a human being that you're talking about, that's kind of how I would look at it. So it's like, what can I put in here that isn't going to tell the world that this was Jane Smith from 123 Main Street in this city, right? And so it could be slipped and fell and bumped their head and the circumstances and whatever. And that could be, if that could literally be any human being, then that information can go in the AI. So my suggestion and my goal would be how much can I give it without telling it who I'm talking about so that the output that I get is as far down the line as possible to put in the smallest amount of information to make it ready to shoot out.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah.
When you put the skill in, Adam, thinking from an SOP standpoint, like when you say like use this skill, is it like, do you have to know what to give it initially? It's like use this skill to create a demand letter, or is it gonna like, will it ask you for the information?
So I'll show you. You can be as advanced as you want or as simple as you want. So I'm going to say create a skill around writing a demand letter for IP infringement. Go. And so as little info as I gave it, like you'll kind of see here like what it's going to work on. It's probably just going to run on its own and make its own demand letter skill. But like what I would do is if you guys have SOPs and you have your, you know, basically your SOP is a skill for a human, like I would say, here's mine, and I want you to create a skill. And so write the skill based on mine. That's kind of how I would do it. But if you don't have a skill, let it make it for you. That's really what I would say. So it just depends on how much you care about the output. And if you have a very specific system, use yours because you like yours, you love yours. It's great, it's brilliant, you've used it. Let the AI take that, use it exactly as it is, or enhance it to be even better. I always love to ask it, is there anything I didn't think of that you think I should have in here? And as an expert, you'll probably know whether you want those things or not, which is totally fine. But at least you're getting a second set of eyes on whether you've been thorough.
On the use side, when somebody, so let's say I have whatever, let's say Taly, she's got the IP firm. She creates the skill. So she puts in her demand letters exactly how she wants it. The skill is made. And she says to her case manager, this is your task now. You're going to use Claude's skill to create the demand letter. Does the case manager need to know what information to feed Claude with the skill? Or if you feed Claude the skill, will it ask, okay, what's the injury? What's the date? What's the stuff?
It will, if you don't give it what it needs, it would do one of two things. It would hallucinate random things to put in, which I actually don't think it would do. I'm 99% sure it would stop you and say, okay, but I need these 10 things. That's really what's going to happen. So it would be unlikely.
My thought was like basically eliminating like most of the SOP and just having it be part of the skill where like it asks you what it needs. And then when it's done, you say, okay, done. All right, cool. The next step for you is to go talk to the attorney or something.
Exactly right. Yep. I'd 100% say that would work and it would work well. Yeah.
That's
so that
cool.
you're basically, when you give them that skill, you could put someone in front of the computer and say, put this into Claude and say, I need to write this letter. And the skill will, the first thing it will do is stop and say, okay, John Smith, I need these pieces of information. And then they would know like, oh, I got to go look that stuff up, or I have to have that in order to do this. They would type it in, and then the skill would run its course and give you the output that you want. So you can absolutely build that in. It's a really smart way to do it, quite frankly.
Love that. This is pretty epic, Adam.
And what it is, and this is just the beginning. You know, it's like this is something anyone could do. And then you're going to start to see like there's stuff that not everybody could do, but they could learn to do. And you're going to see like how the world is going to change. So like this created the skill. So this is all here. Here's our IP demand letter skill. Chances are this is really amazing and brilliant and exactly what an attorney would want to work through when writing a demand letter. I mean, look at this. Here's what you need. Here's the structure. Here's the IP specific guidance. I mean, this is as good as probably anybody could ask for. And of course, you would want to tweak it to how you handle things. But I would venture that this output is better than most people could have made on their own with years of experience. So we have that.
And then what would you do now? Would you test it? Would you say, okay,
sure, I would. So I would say like, okay, what inputs do you need from me to write a demand letter? To your point earlier. And so this should tell me, it's now going to give me a list of what it wants from me to give the output of the letter. And the other way is that we could do this. So let's just let it run real quick. I'm not going to waste our time filling all this stuff out. And it's even a quick start guide. So it's like these 4 for a basic one, and we'll still spit it out. And I'm just going to say, make it all up. I just want to see it, an output. And so now it's going to write us our demand letter and show us how it would do it. And then even from that, it's like, you can just say like, oh, I love this. I hate this. Change the skill. And you're off and running. So, and it's cool because you can see what it's doing here. It's running the skill. It's thinking, like it's telling you like what it's doing. I think that's something that was missing a little bit early on with AI is like, you're like, what the heck is going on? Like, what's it doing? And so like right now, this is telling me it's running a skill. It's reading the skill document. It's thinking. So it's cool because you just kind of see like how it's going. I was telling Francesca this the other day, like the speed at which I think one of the weird things humans are going to have to adjust to is the speed at which this produces things. So like what I was saying is like I can give my AI like a task that would take somebody like 2 weeks probably. And then I like move over to my email and I'm like, all right, like let me get through some of these emails. And in like 3 minutes, the full thing is there. And I'm like, but I didn't even get to go back here, but now I'm kind of interested in what's over here. And it's like, it's disconnect. It's like this new way of working where it's like, I'm trying to work with like this superhuman genius coworker that I can't even keep up with anymore. And it's exhausting. And so it's like, there's this shift taking place of like, how do we balance the speed at which the AI is moving, because it's not like the speed in which any human is capable of. It's pretty, when you start iterating with this and you start getting these mind-blowing outputs that would have taken a human a 2-week project to come back to you on, and they come back to you in 5 minutes, it's like, well, I need to dedicate time to working on AI projects. And then I also need to dedicate time where I'm not looking at that to my to-do list that I have to do myself. Because if you think you can jump back and forth, you're going to be so distracted and feel so overwhelmed because we can't process the amount of information we're being given as quickly as it's coming in.
So as
I had heard that like back in like the day when an ATM first came out, that it was too quick and people didn't trust using ATMs. They thought it was like fake or was stealing their information or whatever because it was so fast. So they actually like made it take longer and put like, they literally like put fake noises in ATMs so people would think that it was like thinking.
I love that.
Oh my God.
Curious to see if they do something similar with AI at some point once like the Gen
Just
Pop
like
is
says
really
like
using
slow
it.
it down.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you're like me, like I'm like racing. Like I don't know if I'm talking like I'm racing right now. I hope that I'm not too much, but this is moving so fast that it like speeds you up as a like.
Yeah.
And I have to remind myself like, all right, like just work at the pace that is sustainable to a degree. So here's
That
our
looks
perfect.
so good.
I mean, what are we talking about? This is insane. Like,
I love
this
it.
is done, ready to go. And again, tweak it to your liking. You give it, one of the next steps is like, you can give this your letterhead and it will, in a folder, save for you this on your letterhead so that you don't have to take that step too in your demand folder on your computer. And that's what co-work is. So actually, we're in co-work right now. Which is a little different than just the traditional chat. So you have your traditional chat.
Sorry
Oh, I
to
think
interrupt.
they
I
just
have to
re-
go. I just want to say
Yeah, I was
thank
gonna
you.
say,
You're
I know
good.
we're at the
You
top.
guys continue. I just have to go to my 11 a.m. So thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks, Taly.
Hi,
Bye,
Taly.
guys.
I gotta
Bye.
run too in like 2 seconds. I told them I'd be 5 minutes late, but
So-
this is
You're
pretty epic.
fine.
Can I just sum up, because I'm going to turn this into a podcast, like the ethics of this? Yes, you need to be hyper aware because we have a higher standard. So everything that we're saying is it's in a business capacity. This isn't any legal advice. This isn't ethics advice. This is just to kind of show people like where the technology is and the potential that it has. But you should still definitely consult with, somebody to help you set up a protocol for the company because the technology is moving faster than the ethics are. So just be safe and smart. Thank you.
Totally fair.